Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for tuning into RPO Radio. Today, we are going to be covering the top 10 NFL teams in their off-season with the draft and practice and what that all looks like. So, Hunter's going to get us started with the first team.
All right. So, thanks to my friend for creating these power rankings and our views for what we think the top teams of the offseason were. And kicking it off at number one, we have the Los Angeles Rams. And no, it's not because they drafted Ty Simpson first in the draft. And I know people got rage baited over that. But I personally did not like their first round, and I know a lot of other people didn't. But their third round was pretty solid. They got offensive tackle Keegan Trost, and it was probably their best pick of the whole entire draft. The first two picks were probably long-term backups, or at least until they, or they'll need a start or two until they get into a starting position if they show their worth. And then we have the Rams GM who seems to recognize he cannot draft, so he trades his picks to get good people. So, I mean, hey, win-win, I guess. I mean, or actually, it's lose-win. You lose some picks, but then you can win some good players. That's just besides the point. In addition, they got Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs to make him their number one corner, which is a big step up from them because last year they were the second best team in football with Kobe Durant as their number one, which is it's a little rough there. But if Matthew Stafford keeps the same level of play as he did and maybe going for another MVP run, not maybe winning, but being in that conversation,
Yes.
I think they have a good shot for the Super Bowl. And then, if you look at it in a positive way for Tyler Simpson, unlike most people, whenever he retires, you might have a decent quarterback on your hands to fill in for him. So, what's your thoughts?
I agree with what the last thing that you said. I think that Ty Simpson was actually a good first-round pick. I feel that he has a ton of potential, but when you watch when you watch his Alabama highlights, and you see all the things he's able to do, he's basically the quarterback that you want, especially with the Rams. He is so similar to Matthew Stafford in the way that they're both not super scramble QBs, you know what I mean? Now Ty Simpson's definitely faster and more athletic and he can get around, but they're still mostly pocket QBs where they kind of bounce around the pocket a little bit and they throw it downfield. I think they're both super similar in that aspect of the game. And I think that within 2 seasons, it's great for Ty Simpson to be under Matthew Stafford, who can teach him all these intangibles and everything that he needs to know about being an NFL-style quarterback. And also, that offensive lineman pick, that was a really good pick for them. Again, we saw that when they played the Panthers. Panthers to absolutely crush their offensive line this season. Keep pounding, Panthers. And then, as we move into this next season, I think the Rams are going to be almost the same team, I feel like. They're not going to change as much. I feel like they're going to keep the pace on. They're going to keep working as hard as they possibly can.
All right. That brings us to our next one, the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Seattle Seahawks. They look like they can maybe run for it another year, but their losses could be impactful on them long term, like losing Kenneth Walker, the reigning Super Bowl MVP, Rick Woolen, Boy Moff, and Kobe Bryant have to hurt a little bit. But I think they did a great job managing their losses. But my only concern is that their O-line depth might not cut it, and Sam Darnold might be running for his life out there. And as we saw when he was with the Panthers, he can't do that very well, which might end up cooking them. So, they don't have a great running back now either because, they just gave him to the Chiefs. But getting JSN back is big for this team. Should be a number one idea in the franchise's mind. And adding some corner depth would probably be helpful too. and we'll see how Jadarian Price does in his rookie campaign. And they never can have enough quality alignment, but they need some depth because their starting O line is solid. It's just if one of them gets hurt, that's not going to be fantastic like at all for Sam Darnold and the rest of that offense and the poor running back situation they have there. They have, I think, Charbonnet now as their number one. But overall, I think that they're got good and they still have the key pieces on defense that they needed. And I think overall that might be able to propel them to another Super Bowl victory. What's your thoughts?
I agree with most of what you said. I think that they definitely lack depth, and definitely getting JSN back was probably the main focus of the entire offseason. They were like, please come back, please come back, please come back. I mean, he's JSN, you gotta have him back. So I mean, that's probably one of their focal like thought processes, and of course, another focal thought process for them is trying to go back to back Super Bowl champs. You know what I mean? So they're gonna try to do that next season. Now that's really hard to do, but it's possible. They have a roster that can do it. It's just gonna be a little more difficult than the season before.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, Sam Darnold has to learn to adapt. He has to learn. This year, I feel like this offensive line was literally a birthday present for him. Like, if this guy was on, I'm trying to think of, the Browns. Terrible line, right?
Or Jets.
Yeah, or Jets. Cooked. He would be sacked almost
like we saw when he was
with
the Jets.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's the problem, is without having a good O-line, you lose the passing aspect of Sam Darnold. He is a great quarterback when he has time to throw and he's able to make the decisions he wants. But when he hits those pressure moments, he just collapses. He doesn't stand up and he doesn't face them. The one person who does that very well is Josh Allen. I'm not saying that JSN is. I meant to say, excuse me. I'm not trying to say that Sam Darnold is anywhere near Josh Allen, but Sam Darnold does have a really good passing ability, but without that offensive line, he just can't function. And Josh Allen kind of shows us the kind of quarterback he needs to be, where he can be shifty in the pocket. He needs to be able to. He's nowhere near as fast as Josh, of course, but he needs to scramble for some yards. 2 to 5 yards will be fine. That could save your team from a 3rd and long. Instead, he sits there and takes a sack.
Yeah.
He's got to step up, and he's got to learn to be a man.
Yeah.
That's the game of football.
If he can't get out of the pocket, which he might have to do a lot this season, especially if his starting offensive line gets hurt, he might be running for his life, like I said.
Exactly.
All right. Number 3 on the power rankings here, we have the Philadelphia Eagles, who absolutely robbed Mekhi Lemon from the grasp of the Pittsburgh Steelers. All thanks to the Dallas Cowboys. Somehow they just seem like every year they help him out. Don't know how, but it's always in the most beneficial way possible. So, they have a great wide receiver now they can get rid of A.J. Brown because I'm pretty sure their whole fan base does not care about him anymore and would rather just get something good for him. Like some good picks for next draft, which would probably be the best options for them. The Eli Stowers pick, beautiful. The wide receiver depth, great, like we covered. And hopefully,
Barkley.
Yeah,
I mean,
and hopefully
solid.
Markel Bell can learn under Lane Johnson and improve his game so they can just be overall better. The 2 backup QBs, good because Jalen Hurts, if he gets hurt, that might not be a great situation for them there. Jonathan Greenard, incredible acquisition for the team, desperately in need and for pass rushing. Tariq Woolen, great pickup. Jonathan Jones, should be better depth than Adoree Jackson, and giving Jordan Davis an extension is great. Jordan Davis was him in that Super Bowl when they won. Then hopefully they can still pay Jalen Carter because they're both going to be banked to pay. Only concern is that the safeties are non-existent. No idea who they might be. Makuba comes back before week 1, and they don't know who the free safety is going to be. Maybe Marcus Epps, something like that. Maybe one of their depth corners play safety. Who knows? But they added some depth to and talent to some places they needed, and that was done beautifully by the Eagles front office. So what's your takes on that?
So my thoughts on this team is that the offense is elite, 100%. Wide receiver room, stellar. Running back room, awesome. Quarterback room, pretty good. Offensive line, decent. They have an elite offense. But when you go to the defense, they struggled last year, and that was the problem with their team last year. That's why they didn't go back to back. That's why they didn't go to the playoffs or
And
as
their
far
offensive
into.
coordinator.
That's as far as they want to. Yes, and the offensive coordinator did add some of the blame to it, but still, I mostly would say it's the roster was the main problem. I mean, now that they have some good defensive players, I think they're gonna have a better season than they did before. Who knows? Maybe they could go for another Super Bowl run. We'll have to see how that works.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the safeties, and when you mentioned AJ Brown too, the Eagles have done this like a few times already, and they're making mistakes by doing it. When you were saying like getting rid of AJ Brown for a few picks, right?
Yeah, or they could use it for trading leverage. So if they need
Yes, I
safeties, they can
understand
get
that,
those
but
people.
AJ Brown is a solid receiver. I mean,
Yeah.
he's done great all the time, and I mean, just because the fan base doesn't like him, I don't care.
I mean,
If I could be,
they have great wide receivers though. So
yes, I still think that he is a focal point of that offense. And you go look at it like Chauncey Gardner Johnson, one of my main mans from the old state of Florida. Of course, he played there during the Super Bowl team just a few years ago. And when he was there, he won Super Bowl. It was great. Had I think he had a few interceptions in the Super Bowl. I think he played really well. Like he contributed a lot to the team. Then they went and traded away to, I believe, the Texans. It's like, what's that about?
yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
Kenneth
Someone
Gainwell.
someone who cooked for you all season long. You're gonna go ahead and trade them
Yeah, like
for no
Kenneth
reason?
Gainwell, the running back that's now Steelers was on the Steelers last year, and like he had a solid performance when he was on the Eagles in that Super Bowl run. He had a great Super Bowl, and then they just traded him. No idea why.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying that the Eagles have a problem where they think, "Oh, we're so loaded, we can just get rid of these guys." And down the line, that's going to hurt you. Like look at now the Lions have bounced back, but for example, when they got rid of Matthew Stafford, when they got rid of um Calvin Johnson. Like they lost some key points that they could have built on, and now it took them a lot longer to get where they are today. They probably would have been better if they would have kept them, you know what I mean, and tried to build on them, but they didn't. Now, of course, they're back into position where they can win a Super Bowl, but still, it would have taken less time if they had just kept the focal points of that offense. You could even say the same thing for. I would probably say you could say the same thing for the Broncos a few times, where they've gotten rid of some specific players who could have been a focal point for their offense, who could have built them up, but they've traded them away. It's just crazy that these teams who are really good right now, think that we can stay dominant for like almost infinite time, and they think that all this won't matter down the road, but it does. It affects your team. It affects what the roster will look like in a few years from now.
All right. Number 4, New England Patriots. And we're assuming Mike Vrabel is still going to be their coach. No idea. We're just going to move on from that whole thing. Anyways, for losing the Super Bowl, it's they have some pretty good things to come away with from the draft. The Elijah Vera Tucker heading to New England, great. Nothing too flashy, but nothing too awful either. They haven't lost any major like pieces to make them have to fill in a big hole and scramble to get these people. They shed some bad contracts, not the best. They drafted some high upside players in late rounds, which is great. They The worst thing they did was give Romeo Dubes $70 million, which not sure he is worth that much, but $70 million for a mid receiver with a team that has way too many receivers, not the best move. But and hey, Stephon Diggs, I'm not sure if he'll come back, but he wasn't charged with anything, so we'll see what happens there with him too. So I don't know. What's your take? It just seems like they didn't have much, but they didn't lose anything, making them
Yeah.
okay pick for number 4.
The problem is I feel like they're ranked this high just because of where they went last season. But let's be honest, they had one of the easiest roads to the Super Bowl I've ever seen. Their schedule was a piece of cake. Like, you put the Chiefs, well, maybe not this year, but you put the Bills and you put
Rams.
Rams, yeah, just those really good top tier teams, the Philadelphia Eagles, they would smoke that schedule. They probably wouldn't even have a loss. They would just
Eagles last year probably would
absolutely,
have.
huh?
Eagles last year probably would have.
Yeah, maybe. But it's just like they had such an easy road to the Super Bowl. And the fact that they lost as many games as they did and made it to the Super Bowl is wild for that schedule. I think that they're going to have a massive drop off next season. I would not be surprised if we see that happen.
Yeah, and just we'll
Because with
have to see what
Harden,
happens. Drake May is going to have to become insane and run for another MVP shot to take that team anywhere.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Just Drake May, I do not think is ready. We saw
Yeah,
that in the Super Bowl. He is not ready.
yeah. All right. Well, moving on from the Patriots, we have the Chicago Bears. They need a safety and got Thielman, Devin Bush, Jalen Jones, and Kobe Bryant are good additions to their defense, and Bradbury adds some veteran ability after Jonah Jackson retired. So that's all solid stuff. This team's good, and they just pretty much got better with that. And hopefully, Caleb Williams has a full breakout, proves everybody wrong, any doubts left in their mind, all gone. Just has a fantastic season, and maybe leads the Bears to a deeper playoff run that they had last year.
I think the Bears can definitely step up next season. I think that they can definitely wow some people. And I think that, especially with Caleb Williams, I mean, he showed how he can really be a versatile quarterback. Honestly, that playoff game that they lost, I don't blame the Bears when it comes to the quarterback decision making. And they said "Oh, it's Caleb Williams' fault. He's the one who made us lose." I'm like, well, also the receiver didn't really follow his route. You know what I mean? That's not really Caleb Williams' fault. He was locked in, cooked. I mean, it was a great playoff game. I think that the Bears can go out and make an attempt at another Super Bowl and try to get after it next year. I think that they're headed in the right direction. Do I think they're going to be the greatest team in the NFL next season? No. But they have a solid team. They're one of those teams that you look at and you're like, it's pretty decent, not bad. And you're like, okay, well, let's see what they got next.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how they do.
And, I mean, he did lose one of his key receivers more.
Yeah.
And but
The Bills.
to the Bills. So we'll see what happens there. But he has great tight ends to throw to, so that
Yes.
will make up for it, I think. But yeah, moving on to number 6, we have the Houston Texans, who have probably one of the best defenses in the NFL. They have a lot of moving parts this offseason. Moving on from Mixon and bringing in David Montgomery. Great move. Holy cow. Absolutely beautiful. Cook right there. Lots of solid O-line options to help protect CJ Stroud. They extended Will Anderson and got the free safety they needed in Blankenship from the Eagles. Their draft wasn't super crazy, but it was decent enough. And the good team got better, but we just need to see the offense improve because CJ Stroud, it's either, if it's his great game, it's absolutely cook fest by him. But if it's terrible, it's worse than like someone like Bryce Young's terrible. It's an abomination to watch if you're a Texans
It's like
fan.
watching Kyle Trask play
Yeah,
in the NFL.
it's not good. Their defense can win championships because of how great it is, but if they're exhausted by the time the playoffs come around, yeah, you can just kiss your playoff hopes goodbye because your defense isn't going to be being able to keep up with a top tier team like the Rams, the Eagles, the Seahawks, people like them.
Yeah, I would say the Texans definitely had a really successful offseason. I think that they built up the offensive inconsistencies. And I think that's going to help CJ Stroud stay consistent. Like the offensive line, again, you mentioned that last season it felt like the offensive line struggled a little bit, and that's why CJ Stroud struggled. But now, if he's got a decent offensive line, he's similar to Sam Darnold, as we were talking about earlier. Now, he can obviously run way faster than Sam Darnold. That's not what I'm saying. But they're both guys who rely on their offensive line to be able to function. And so I think that that's going to help him in being able to stay consistent in next season.
Yep, definitely. All right, number 7, we have the Baltimore Ravens, who had a absolutely beautiful draft. Their top 4 picks couldn't have been any better, so they're just adding to an already great team. In free agency, they got Trey Hendrickson, absolute beautiful. They didn't get Crosby, but Hendrickson pretty much still gets what they might want from someone like Crosby. But they also lost Linderbaum, so that's a little bit of a toss-up situation there. Their subtraction pages is twice as big as their additions page, so that means they've lost a ton of players. So they definitely might need to figure out something to fill in those holes that they lost. This AFC team probably could win, go places, maybe make it deep into the playoffs, but will they? And Lamar isn't young anymore, but I don't think that makes him bad at all. It just might hinder maybe mobility just a little bit. He won't be able to move as quick and be as agile. And they also, quick side note, they signed Diego Pavia, and that might curse them. That might that might cook them. So we'll see.
They have my guy King Henry.
Yeah,
King Henry.
and they have Derrick Henry, of course, because they wouldn't want to get rid of him. But they'll see if they can start winning before that window and ship already sails, like all the way through the season, and we see an absolute sad choke, like generational choke, by a kicker again, like we saw against the Steelers. That was terrible.
I mean, I'll be honest with you right now. The Ravens, they felt like a super complacent team last year. Like, you almost made the playoffs. Now, yes, you should have won. You should have made the playoffs with ease. That's the team that you should definitely do that with. But them blaming it on Derrick Henry for fumbling. Okay, first off, don't blame it on Derrick Henry. The coaches are trying to change the way he runs. He's Derrick Henry. He's King Henry for a reason. He has King in front of his name for a reason. You don't change Derrick Henry. You let him be. You let him do what he wants. He will figure it out. He's Derrick Henry. You don't have to mess with him. Lamar, you just. Oh. Oh my. Lamar. How you sell that bad in one season, I will never know. Man, you went from MVP status 2 seasons ago to who is this?
This is terrible.
Exactly. It's like he's got to stay consistent. I love Lamar Jackson. I do not want him to turn into one of those quarterbacks who was great for like 3 to 4 years, kind of like Vince Young was, where like super athletic, like absolute beast, but didn't stay healthy, didn't practice, didn't learn, and so they weren't able to keep up with the aging process of their body. And so they end up declining within a few years, like 5 years. I don't want that to happen for Lamar. I want him to stay in as long as he possibly can. He's a phenomenal quarterback, and we've seen that. He won MVP already, and he's made it close to a Super Bowl. I mean, like, the man is insane. He just has to lock in, and he has to realize that he's not going to stay 22 years old forever.
Yeah.
He's not going to be peak physical condition. He has to be ready for the future, and he has to make sure that he's learning and staying healthy and taking care of his body.
Yeah.
That's the main goal for them. Oh, and then also defensive inconsistencies, but as you said, getting those defensive pieces will help a lot.
Yeah.
So I think those were the two main things.
The one thing that they just got to do is stay healthy, and that's a kind of hard thing to do for the Ravens, but I think if they stay healthy, that's where the lack of depth comes in, and losing a bunch of people comes in. So I don't know if this team is built for like a deep playoff run, but we'll see what happens. They might be able to pull something off, might be able to stay healthy, might be able to improve. Number 8, we have the San Francisco 49ers. It wasn't awful, it wasn't great. I guess the offseason really doesn't discourage fans, but it doesn't encourage them either. Adding the wide receiver room was always a great idea when it comes to Mike Evans, solid, and Christian Kirk. DeJon Stribling, great pickup, second round. As long as Fred Warner, Bosa, Kittle, and Greenlaw all come back healthy, they might have a great team and make some noise in that stacked NFC. We've already mentioned all the NFC West. We've already mentioned all those great teams in there. They really need to move out if they're going to, because they need to make sure they're taking their time moving his contract. So just playing their pieces right and just maybe getting a couple extra pieces, maybe in a trade or something, might help them a little bit, but health is the key. If they don't stay healthy,
they're cooked.
Season's cooked. Gone.
Because, I mean, last year we saw that. Just everyone was hurt. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey was hurt for a little bit. Like, it was like, what in the world just happened? Everybody got hurt in like 1 week.
Yeah.
And that's what was crazy for the most part. That's their main goal. Staying healthy. That's the big goal. Now, I love adding Mike Evans to this team. That is insane. Like, that is an amazing pickup. Mike Evans had like that one injury, so he's fine. He's a guy you can rely on who will stay healthy. He's also has so much experience, which is great because you look at their young, again, I'm going to mention another Florida man, my guy Ricky Pearsall from the old state of Florida. He's a great receiver for them. We've seen that. He can be an elite receiver. I mean, the guy literally almost died last season, and now he's cooking. So, I mean, like, yeah, I think he's doing all right. And so, I think he's going to be a good receiver for them in the future. And having someone like Mike Evans who can, like, almost, like, tutor him in a way and teach him the ways of what being a good receiver looks like and being an elite receiver, I think that will help Ricky Pearsall develop a lot for them. And then Brock Purdy, just you gotta stay healthy, dude. That team revolves around him. Like he's Mr. Irrelevant, but not much anymore. Man almost made the almost won a Super Bowl.
Almost. So close.
So close. And I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's legit. I think that he needs to stay healthy. Christian McCaffrey needs to stay healthy. Those two, and I think those two can really hold that team up.
Yeah. All right. The Los Angeles Chargers at number 9. Brennan Thompson, we're trying to see how he even fits into McDaniel's offensive scheme. They do need more O-line starters, but the depth should be okay. Herbert and this offense under McDaniel, absolutely beautiful, crispy. If everyone stays healthy, O-line cooks, it's going to be a great offensive season for the Chargers. But the defense, if the defense doesn't keep them in the game, Herbert is not going to be able to keep them in the game. The defense is the only thing that's going to hinder them. So the defense has to play well to maybe get them into contention this season. And if they do, deep playoff run, I'm sure of it. They are a great team. Your thoughts?
I agree with you in the whole thing. I mean, Justin Herbert, great quarterback, great offense. I think that they'll be one of the contenders for best offense and having good offensive stats and being that best offensive team in the NFL. But again, that defense is going to struggle. I mean, they just don't have the pieces that they need to win. And so I think that they'll have a good season. I don't think they'll win the Super Bowl, though.
Yeah, definitely. Not sure if they're built for a run like that. And finally, at number 10, we have the Buffalo Bills. They have way too many decent safeties. Like, way too many. But for not having a first round at all, they did pretty solid. But their subtractions list really long, like a scroll. Their entire front seven, including the backups, gone. This offense can't survive. I mean, they have stinking Josh Allen and now DJ Moore, so he has a solid wide receiver to go to now. And yeah, so Josh Allen can really help his team go far there. They're gonna need some players on the defense to step up if they really want to go far. If not, absolutely cook. They might not even make it to the playoffs because of that long subtraction list of players. New stadium and their new head coach Joe Brady might take this team further than it's ever been, which would pretty much be a Super Bowl because they made it literally right there every time, and it's like falling off a cliff every single time.
4 years in a row.
Yep. But the defense situation, I'm not convinced they are getting there. I mean, I have the list, and holy cow, it's very long. Very long. There is probably about 15 people that they lost on there. Tons of people. Absolutely insane.
I mean, it's the Bills, dude. They're gonna find a way to fix their front seven. I'm not worried about that. Offense, they're gonna be fine. Defense, that's hard because they lost a lot of people. That defense.
Yeah, like they lost everybody.
I mean, that's rough, really rough. I mean, it's bad. The thing is, I'll be honest with you. I think Josh Allen is good enough to carry this team all the way to the Super Bowl with DJ Moore. DJ Moore is just taking some of the weights off Josh Allen's back, making it a little easier. I legit think that this team could have a terrible defense, and it will not matter. because Josh Allen with DJ Moore, if their offense can be just as good as they were a few years ago with a better wide receiver as DJ Moore, they will obliterate these defenses. Absolutely torch them. Josh Allen will scramble all over God's green creation. James Cook will run all over everybody. And DJ Moore is going to catch some dimes.
Yeah.
There's a reason why, for me, I have the Bills in the Super Bowl next year. There's a reason why I say that. I have them, and I would probably say the Rams. Those two are probably my two Super Bowl favorites. I think could make it. I think that'd be a great Super Bowl, and I think, personally, I would either think that the Bills would win that one with Josh carrying it like a last-minute win, or the team would get crushed because Matthew Stafford would torch their defense.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. I feel that that's gonna be the Super Bowl. But I mean, we'll have to see what happens. I
We'll have
love
to
the
see what
Bills. And I
happens, see
think,
if the curse continues or not. All right.
yeah.
Well, that's our 10. So you can close us out, Turner.
Yep. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today. We're gonna keep y'all posted. Eventually, we're gonna go over the rest of the teams that we didn't cover today. We're gonna send out some more videos covering those, and then later, we're gonna be sending out a college football recruiting video. We're mostly gonna be covering SEC, Big 10, Big 12,
And ACC.
yeah, and then probably the ACC. Those are probably the four conferences we'll cover. Probably do four teams from each conference. Talk about the big hot ones. Of course, we're gonna talk about our Gators, but you know what I mean. So if y'all are Gator fans, tune in for that. We'll talk about those. Those are just the few things that we've got coming up. Sorry we haven't posted in a long time. We've just been a little busy, but we'll try to keep posting those videos as much as we can. We'll be posting a lot more as the NFL and college season start to begin again. We'll have a lot more time to really get after those. And then this summer, we're going to be posting a ton of anything you really hear about college football or NFL. It will be posted on this channel usually during the summer. So that's going to be our goals for the rest of this year. And we thank you guys for such an amazing just first part of this year that we've gotten to be able to be on here at RPO Radio. So thank you guys.
Yep. Thank you, guys. And this is RPO Radio signing out.